and welcome to the Power Toku Show DX. This is episode 10, and I'm Luis, otherwise known as SentaiSeiya. And joining me is the Kamen Rider Zangetsu to my Kamen Rider Gaim, Josh Reed.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? And by everyone, I mean Luis, because he's the only one who can hear me.
I'm good. Doing just fine. How about you?
Yeah, good. Doing pretty good. We had some serious computer issues over the last couple of weeks. Some of you may be aware my computer died, but I bought a whole bunch of parts, put them together, and so now I am running at full capacity again.
Mm-hmm. And so the cool thing is you were able to save last week's episode.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll see that like the day before you see this one.
Mm-hmm. Unless you watch them out of order.
Yeah, unless you're weird like that. I don't know.
Yeah. You don't like numerical things.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's an awesome episode. If you haven't already seen it, go back and watch that one, and then come back and watch this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've been busy too, right? Got yourself a little promotion over at CDX.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah. CDX promotions. You get more work, the exact same pay, which is cool. I mean, we do this for the love of the toys and all that stuff, the fandom. It's not really, a thing we do for money. So
if I was doing this for the money, I would be a very unhappy person.
So yeah, for those who don't know, Josh got promoted from producing our little show to producing the big little show on CDX.
Yeah. Or
the little big show, whatever you want to call it. So the CDX show proper. So if you like what he does here on Power Toku, check him out every other week with Josh B and possibly other hosts to come during the summer. So yeah, congrats, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It should be it should be a fun adventure.
Oh yeah. All that practice, clicking on stuff for this show paid off in the end.
All the twisting of the knobs.
Yeah. All those headaches trying to get guests on and then making the audio work and all that behind the scenes stuff people don't normally see.
Yeah.
Unless we start streaming and then they can, hang around for, half an hour of us trying to get the show together.
Streaming? That's a good idea. We should do that next week.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add before we get started?
Nothing.
Nope. All right, so let's jump right into news. All right, so let's talk about some news. And this week the news is all Godzilla. First up, we're going to talk about the SH Monster Arts Kiryu Heavy Arms from Godzilla Tokyo SOS. So the first time I saw this news piece, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't they already release this? Because they had the normal version from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. But I completely forgot. It slipped my mind that in the movie, he's very heavily damaged. His Absolute Zero cannon is destroyed, and it's just super expensive to repair. So in Tokyo SOS, they decide, we're not going to spend that much money, but we want to bring this back to being functional. And this is what it looks like, the heavy arms form. So, I mean, the base figure is basically the same. What you're getting are different weapons on the shoulders. The little chest compartment looks a little bit different. But it's a great figure. I mean, I have the original. It's awesome. It's really heavy. It's got die cast in the feet. It just feels nice. Tail's articulated. I don't know if I'm going to get it, though, having the original. Yeah.
This would mostly be for people who didn't get the original Kiryu and just want one again. Or want one because they don't have it.
They can't have something again that they didn't already have.
Yeah.
But anyways, or for the people that maybe like this version better.
Yeah.
They like Tokyo SOS a little bit more than the Millennium Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, also, there's a completionists out there that have to have everything in the line. So, looks good. Should be good. I'm guessing the price point's going to be about the same. Does it mention it at the top?
Yes, $124.99.
Ooh, Tamashii Web exclusive then, right?
Actually, no, unless it is, because normally we would just get it in yen. Looks like it's being, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's at Big Bad Toy Store, so I'm guessing Bluefin's bringing it over. They're
Yeah,
usually pretty good about bringing over the Godzilla stuff. So,
yeah,
huh?
but not for that kind of price. That
Yeah,
is strange. I don't know why I didn't bother looking at that until now.
yeah.
I would expect somewhere around 65, 70
Well, actually,
tops.
the original was about like 90, so I was expecting that price for this.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So, huh? Really weird. Maybe they made not as many figures of this, figuring more people are going to buy the first one, and they're not going to jump in with the second one. So, if you love yourself some, Kiryu from the newer movies from the Millennium series, get it. If not, get the original. All right. So, let's talk about some more Godzilla stuff.
Kawakita! Godzilla statue.
Yeah. So, this is a statue. It's a replica of a statue that is somewhere in Japan. I can't remember the name of the place of it. This was done by Kawakita, who is he did the special effects for Godzilla in the 90s. It looks really cool. This is done by Sideshow Collectibles, and it doesn't look too impressive till you get to the bottom screen
Mm-hmm.
or the bottom picture.
Yeah.
Bam! That thing is
I think that pretty much sums up how we feel about this.
yeah.
I was gonna say something, Luis was gonna say something, and then we just couldn't.
We were left speechless.
It's huge.
Yeah, it runs about $2.5 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
I think it was $2,399.
yeah, if shipping's got to be a killer on this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of things that are only for completionists, yeah, this is a big kick in the pants, or in the wallet, I should say. I mean, I would love to have this. I don't know where I would put it, but man, looks cool.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I was wrong. It's 2,999.
Oh.
So, yeah,
So over
3,000.
over $3,000 after you factor in shipping. I think Sideshow does free shipping, don't they? After a couple hundred, I want to say.
For $3,000, I would hope they would have free shipping.
Yeah. It'd be
Oh.
too much to ask for them to ship the Asian girl at the bottom of the picture with it, though.
Does it come with it?
Yeah,
Ah.
no. All right, so yeah, really good looking. This is Godzilla from 90s.
Yeah, this
They're
is the 90s Godzilla.
Makes sense because Kawakita did the SFX for Godzilla 90s, so very cool looking, and only for those with very deep pockets.
Yeah, this is for the biggest of Godzilla fans, or
Yeah.
just the richest of Godzilla fans.
You know who's probably gonna get this? Like Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, I can definitely see him just having this, like, just sitting in his bathroom.
Yeah. Have you ever seen? I think they did like a little special. I don't know if it was Japanese TV or American TV. They interviewed him, and they talked about the fact that he has like a little guest house connected to his house, and it's nothing but all his Toku stuff. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you gotta see it. There's a picture of it. It's like really cool. It's just like all sorts of Toku memorabilia and stuff he's just collected throughout the years. It's his own little quiet space. He can just get away from the kids and the wife and just go hang out with like, Ultra Q and Godzilla and all that stuff. So, yeah, I can see him getting one of these.
Yeah.
But for us poor folk, it's a little too rich for our blood.
Yeah. Oh.
For those who aren't, Hollywood movie directors, let's stick to the SH Monster Arts.
Yeah, definitely out of our budgets.
Yeah. Also worth noting that this is based off the actual cast for the statue that they use in Japan. So, I mean, you're getting something that's really unique and really cool. So, yay for people that have money.
Yeah.
All right. And that's pretty much it. Not a lot of news this week. Pretty slow. Yeah. We got like an update on the Aka Red from Go Ranger that's being brought over by Bluefin.
Mhm.
So we talked about in the last episode that we weren't sure if it was going to be brought over as an official release or not, and they've made it official that it is going to come over. So you can pick it up at like Big Bad Toy Store and stuff. Amazon, the Toy Source, all those guys. So,
Yeah, we totally should have, put up pictures and stuff, but we didn't think we were going to be talking about it until Luis just brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing that got updated this week.
Yeah, it was in the show notes. I just figured we'd take it out, but since we were here and it seemed like a kind of a light news segment, I figured I'd throw that in there. So for those that watched the previous episode, which airs a day before this one, this is a quick update.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're gonna look dumb. We're like, oh, we don't know if it's gonna come over or not. They're like, well, but they already.
They just announced that like last week. It's gonna be $44.99.
Yeah, so that's to hedge against those people that are gonna throw comments up on YouTube. That's what that's there for. So, let's talk about some reviews.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So first up, we're gonna check out Dan and Garba. This review is done by Ghost13. He's like a staple on this show now. We seem to talk about at least one of his reviews every episode. So this is the one with Dan and Garba, and it also comes with a bracelet. This is the one where you can take the figure, you can, rip off the arms and then attach the armor onto it. So basically, Dan of the Midnight Sun is from the first Garo movie, for those who haven't seen it. He's not too prominent of a character. He shows up in the movie, but he does show up in the series later on, and he makes other appearances. So that's one thing that I really like about the Garo series, is that they don't just do standalone movies that don't really fit in with the story. They introduce characters, and they come into play later on in the series. So that's really neat. I mean, Super Sentai and Kamen Rider a lot of the times will make their story standalone. It's just, let's face it, it's a cash grab during the summer, so they can make some more cash off of the current series. But I like the way Garo intertwines the movies and the specials and all that stuff into the actual storyline. So Ghost13 mentions that this character is not that popular. He's not going to get an updated figure in the Makai Kado line, so this is one of the only ways you can get this figure or this character in toy form. So, looks decent. The human form, it's alright. The face isn't the greatest, but, it does an okay job of, being the character.
It's also kind of an older toy line. This is back in like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Bandai's come a long way in those like 8 years or so. So, but it's got a decent amount of detail. He mentioned that there's like some weathering on the jacket, makes it look a little bit dirty. He said he bought it secondhand, and he thought it was, the person that had it before him just doing some extra work on it. But then he saw pictures of it in the package, and he's like, nope, that's the way it looks. It's dirty. So it does take away from his suit, or his coat, I should say. Usually it's really nice and white. But it looks good for what it is.
Yep.
And he's got a ton of pictures.
He always loads us up on pictures.
Yeah.
I should just start like scrolling through Ghost13's reviews like super fast.
Yeah.
Then by the time we get done talking about them, we'll be done.
Yeah. We'll have a couple pictures left to talk about. Yeah. Not that it's a bad thing. I wish I had the time to do as many pictures as he does. It's great that he gives us so many detailed pictures of the toy.
Yep.
So, there's the figure, taken apart. Then you just slap the armor on. The armor pieces onto the figure. And that looks awesome. I mean, I can't imagine them improving it too much if they did a Makai Kado release of this.
Yeah, I love the equip and prop, like, figures in general, because they did take after, the SICs, and they are super detailed, and they already look pretty good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a huge loss that this guy is going to be updated in the new Makai Kado line.
I'm pretty sure the Makai Kados are bigger, though.
Yeah. I think now they're doing the newer figures from the newer shows, so I don't think they're going to reach back and do an older character at this point.
And even now, even with the shows that are currently airing, all of those figures are web exclusives anyway. So, there's pretty much no hope to get an updated Dan or Dan.
Yeah. Of the Midnight Sun. So, just a ton of really nice pictures again. He did mention the articulation is pretty limited on this, kind of like the Garo. I mean, with such an ornate armor, you do run into the issue of the armor pieces just kind of rubbing against each other. So you trade in the looks for the articulation.
Once again, this is, 2005, 2006 articulation. If you look at the Makai Kado line now, they're much more highly articulated, even though there are still, some issues with the bulkiness and ornateness of the armor.
Yeah. I think there's only so much you can do without having a lot of like gaps in between the armor pieces and stuff with this.
Or just doing like what the SH Figure Arts did and just sort of dial back the show accuracy.
So, comes with the lance. It's really cool. Then he comes with the, what's his name?
Goruba.
Yeah. The bracelet.
Yep.
And there's Ghost 13's hand.
I'm assuming that's Ghost 13's hand.
Yeah. So, really cool. He did mention, though, he had some breakage at the end after he was done.
Yeah.
And even after that, he still recommends the figure. So, he basically said if you're up to gambling on, getting a figure that doesn't break, get it. He really enjoyed it. I don't know about you, but I think I'd stay away.
Yeah, I would. I love Garo, but I don't love Don enough to bother forking over the money to get one of these guys.
Yeah. And then have it break in your hands.
Yeah. Generally, if a figure breaks after playing with it, that's generally a signal for me to not recommend it. That's happened to several figures. Even I've had a couple of SH Figure Arts that either broke immediately after playing with it, or just didn't work out very well. And normally, I give SH Figure Arts basically a free pass because they're usually awesome. But you can look back on Kamen Rider Wizard, Kamen Rider Forze Cosmic States. Those figures I gave horrible reviews, and I said, don't even go near them because they're terrible. And I believe I also had a breakage issue with the Kamen Rider Wing Knight Figma from Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. I had a bunch of issues with him.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went on that tangent, but...
That's alright. I mean, it happens sometimes, too. You gotta realize these are mass-produced figures. But we do our reviews based off our experience. While, 99 other people might not have their figure break, we're like the 100th figure, and it breaks, so, obviously you're not going to say very good things, especially if you paid money for the figure. 40, 50 bucks down the toilet isn't exactly a good experience in my book.
And, I mean, if you get a brand new figure and buy it from, Big Bad Toy Store or something like that, and it breaks, generally you just call them, and, they'll send you a new one. They'll replace it like nothing. But getting something secondhand, especially if it's something that could be fragile like this, is a really harrowing experience, because if it breaks, you're just out of luck.
Yeah. So, if you're a gambling man, go ahead. For the rest of us, I think we're going to, place some safe bets.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's talk about the next review.
Respasa. This is another Josh B. review of some Pacific Rim goodness. And by goodness, I mean...
Neckiness.
Yeah. Basically, it's 7 inches tall. It's in scale with their other Pacific Rim figures. But Trespasser is actually pretty decent. It moves where it needs to. It's basically a big, solid kaiju figure, so...
Yeah, and this is the kaiju we see at the beginning of the movie, tearing through the Golden Gate Bridge. So you don't see a whole lot of it in the movie. And so it does share its body also with a couple of the other kaiju. So it's an easy figure for NECA to produce. Just some change in the paints and I think a different head, and you call it a day.
Yep.
So, Josh pretty much liked it. No complaints. NECA's getting better with these now that they don't have to worry about, the possibility of Walmart picking the toys up. Yeah, with the first... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue. If you remember, I was the one who reviewed the first Gypsy Danger, and I got it in anticipation of the movie, and I was so excited, and then I pulled it out of the package, and I was just like, what is this crap? I did not give it a very favorable review.
Yeah. I think also going back to Josh's review, Josh B's, I like how he ends it. He says, if you find a piece that's unbroken, get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a problem that I have with a lot of NECA's stuff. You see it in the package, and it looks fantastic. They do a great job of, if you really like grungy, SIC styled stuff, a lot of NECA's stuff will definitely get you. Because, I mean, there's always a lot of detail, a lot of sculpted detail, a lot of painted detail, and they usually look fantastic. And some of their stuff is actually really highly articulated and fairly inexpensive. The problem is that mixing all of those things together is almost like a firecracker. Sometimes these things are broken in the package, and so it's really sad. They also get some really, really good licenses. I remember several years back, they actually got the Ninja Gaiden license, and I got a Ryu Hayabusa from NECA, and it's one of my favorite figures because it ended up being great.
So, again, for those people that like to gamble on their toys.
Yeah, we're having a lot of gambling issues tonight.
Yeah. Stuff that's not a secure bet. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but that's the issue I had with the Bioshock Infinite stuff. The Patriots look good. I mean, they're really cool-looking toys. And then I heard about the breakage, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just keep my Bioshock experience to the video game.
Yeah, it's such a shame, too, because I really love Team Fortress 2, and I bought the Heavy, and the first one immediately broke as I was taking it out of the package. And I was like, oh no, this is an unfortunate situation. And then I took it back to the store, got another one, pulled that out, and it immediately broke after pulling it out of the package. And I was like, wow, this is getting weird. And I took it back again, got it the third time, and his foot fell off as I was opening it. And so I just super glued it back on and was just like, I'm done. I'm just going to set it over here and just not do anything with it.
Yeah. It's probably as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully NECA picks up their game, in the years to come.
Yeah.
They have cool licenses, unique licenses that other companies don't have, so I would really like them to jump into the game a little bit more, with a better game plan and better figures.
They're steadily improving. Like, if you remember just a few years ago, most of their figures were just tiny little statues, and then they actually started getting into, making articulated action figures. And some of them are great, like the Predator figures, and some of them are not so great, like the rest of them.
It's like a lot of them.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a really stunning example of a terrible line that they've done, and
they had those big Iron Man figures that fell over. They couldn't stand.
Those things, and then they usually fall apart, and then, like, I think someone was having an issue with the chest just, like, falling out of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, NECA's getting there, but it's going to be a while, I think, before they get anywhere near Bandai quality.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right. I'm interested to see their Godzilla coming out with.
Yeah, I heard somebody on Twitter recommending it, so yeah.
Also, I would also recommend boiling your NECA figures before you try to move the joints.
Is there like over or leftover residue on them?
Yeah, because they put all the joints in and then they spray a bunch of paint on them. A lot of times the paint will get stuck. And since they're pretty fragile, if you try to force the joint open, a lot of times it'll cause that joint to break. So it's good to either, like, freeze your figure or boil it before you try to move any of the joints to just soften up the plastic so it bends instead of snapping.
And boiling it is also a good recipe for making NECA figure broth.
Yeah, it is. Kind of delicious.
Yeah, paint. All right, that's enough talk about NECA.
Yeah. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah. All right, so Kamen Rider Zangetsu Melon Arms in the Arms Change line by Siningi. Is that how he told us to pronounce it?
I forgot.
I think it's Siningi.
I think it is Siningi.
Yeah, if not, he can correct us.
Siningi, if we're saying your name wrong again for like the 4th time, you can correct us again.
Yeah. We should have him on just to say his name. Do a little, like, snippet of him.
Just pronouncing his name, so every time we have to say it, it just cuts to that little voice clip.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So anyways, another Arms Change figure. He really liked it. The base figure, he said, shares a lot of similarities to Kamen Rider Gaim. It's almost like the same figure, except for the paint applications, and also for, like, the head. Other than that, the body's pretty much the same. It comes with the Muso Saber, and there it is, like, side by side. I mean, they're like night and day versions of the same figure. So, he really liked it. I mean, he didn't have any complaints with the figure, except for the hands. They have those Shochaku Henshin hands that have a tendency of not holding stuff well. Yeah.
But that's kind of one reason why I really love these little figures because it's basically the second coming of the Sochaku Henshin line.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Sochaku Henshin line sort of just became SH Figure Arts.
Yeah.
That's actually what the SH stands for.
Actually, it's not.
Is it not?
Nope. It is Style and Heroic Action, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think that's right. I think it's Sochaku Henshin.
That's what I heard. I think it's even on the Bandai page. Let's look it up.
Alright, stop the show! We're looking this up.
Yep, it's on the Bluefin page. Simple Style, Heroic Action.
I don't believe that.
You want the link?
I'm opening up the link right now.
Oh, all right.
Series name is a contraction of the concepts of simple style and heroic action. I think they just made that up afterwards. No. I will not believe it. No.
How can he not believe Bluefin?
No.
All right. So, we can go back to the review.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So,
Where were we? There we go.
All right.
Okay, so apparently the SH and SH Figure Arts doesn't stand for Sochaku Henshin, even though it should.
Yeah. It stands for Simple Style and Heroic Action. I think it's a common misconception, though. A lot of people think that it stands for Shochaku Henshin.
Because it took over the line. Like, it was Sochaku Henshin, and then, like, 2008, and then, like, they immediately switched. They stopped making Sochaku Henshin and moved to SH Figure Arts.
Makes sense.
I know.
They had to come up with some other weird naming for the figures, so...
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because that would imply that, you know, they're transforming armor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's just a figure line of highly articulated, you know, action figures, it would make sense that they came up with some stupid bullcrap name. Be like, this is where the SH came from, and it's totally not Sochaku Henshin.
Yeah. Although the Ryuki figures would fit in, because you have armor that equips on, so... But anyways, back to Siningi's beautiful figures. And beautiful pictures. Again, he does a great job. He said this is basically the last figure he recommends in the line. Mm-hmm. With the next set of figures, with like the Kachidoki arms and stuff, I think he mentions that it just gets complicated and it gets really hard for the characters to hold their weapons, which is a minus. I mean, mm-hmm. you want your figure to be able to pull off some poses with the weapon.
Yeah, but I think the whole purpose for this is to have them, you know, be able to switch around their, you know, arms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's great for collectability, just getting a whole bunch of these and having fun, switching them around as he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Zangetsu looks really good in pretty much any combination it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, white goes with pretty much any color.
Yep.
Yeah. So, another great review by Siningi. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Yeah. So, I'm not sure if he's going to review the next figure, you know, the Kachidoki arms and all those. He doesn't have a very big, you know, affinity to those figures. But who knows, maybe we'll get a figure in this line that he doesn't like, that he reviews. So, great job.
Yes.
Alright. Next up is Machine Buffalo. And this is in the, Mechanics line? It's kind of hard, small for me to read.
It's the Cosmo Fleet Collection.
Cosmo Fleet Collection. So this is a line of figures from the Super Sentai line. They're the vehicles, usually the carrier vehicles or other vehicles in the line, usually from the older shows. And this is from Choujin Sentai Liveman. Have you seen the Liveman?
I have not seen Liveman.
Oh, it's got such a cool intro. It's a very just retro. Yeah. Anyways, it's a decent show. I haven't finished it myself. I think I'm up to like somewhere in the teens for the episodes. I haven't gotten to the part where they get a new member. The thing about Liveman is it wasn't very popular, so they decided, hey, let's toss in 2 more Rangers, and this is going to totally sell to kids. So I'm not quite at that part yet. So the Machine Buffalo is the carrier for the Zords, or the mechas, I should say. They're not Zords because it's Super Sentai.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in it, there's a lion, an eagle, and dolphins. One for each of the three main live man. And there it is, showing off that he's got the eagle, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dolphins.
Yep.
And the lion. And that becomes a live robo. So the cool thing about this line is that the figures are just super small. Josh mentions that the live robo is about an inch tall. So you figure the Machine Buffalo isn't too much bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so great detail considering they're just that small. I mean, they make the little Glyos figures look pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
These things are really cool. Josh has actually been doing a series on pretty much all of the Cosmo Fleet little figures that they've released so far, and this is just his newest one.
Yeah. I think he's been covering them on the CDX show, so we haven't been talking about him here, even though it is Toku.
Mm.
But I figured we'd talk about Machine Buffalo, because, I mean, Live Man is a pretty good show. Not the best of the retro Super Sentai, but
we'll get into that later.
Yeah, still pretty enjoyable. So, just a very short, concise review. Really well done by Josh B.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it for reviews.
It is. So, are we going to talk about some shows?
Yep. Or we can change it up and not talk about shows. Call it a day.
Alrighty, guys. So, the first show we're going to talk about is, of course, some Kamen Rider Gaim. Remember, last week, or rather yesterday, we talked about episode 31 and, you know, the death of Sid and all this stuff. This is basically the fallout of that and the introduction of the Kiwami arms, or Zenith arms, whatever you like, which is going to be Gaim's ultimate form. Mm-hmm. Basically, last episode, Gaim gets the crap beaten out of him, and so he's sitting there just like bleeding all over the place, and Cigar's just like, hey, you need to become an overlord, blah, 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 because I'm mysterious and no one knows what I am yet. And then he's just like, here, take this. And then Gaim's just like, oh, okay. And so then he goes out and he destroys a bunch of things. And he's cool, although he looks like a doofus. I really don't like the way Zenith Arms looks.
I like it a little bit more than I did before. But not, I still haven't warmed up to it completely.
Yeah, seeing it in action is much better than just seeing it in still images.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it looks really doofy. I would much rather Kachidoki Arms be his final form, because it looks really cool.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, that went up for pre-order this week. Sold out.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like, I saw it was up for pre-order, and I was like, all right, sweet. I'm going to throw one on, and then, nope. Nobody seems to have it, you know, up for pre-order, so I might miss out on that one.
Yeah.
Which is just a testament to how cool Kachidoki Arms looks.
Yeah, well, I mean, lately for, like, the newer SH Figures releases, they've generally had re-releases, like, a month after they, you know, release, if they have, you know, an overwhelming pre-order. Mm-hmm. Because that's what happened with Kamen Rider Blade. They had a reissue, like, the month after it released.
Yeah. That happened in the St. Cloth Myth line, too. They had Liber Doko EX release, and the same thing, like a month later, they had another pre-order up. So if it is popular enough, we'll see it again. But let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
So with the new form, Kamen Rider Gaim basically is able to command all of the different arms. You know, the orange, banana, the melon, and all those.
His chest looks like a face.
Yeah.
The bananas looks like a nose, and then you've got the melon and the orange. It was, I don't know, something I just saw. Continue talking.
Yeah. So anyways, besides the fact that he has all these powers, they're also like upgraded, it seems like. They're more powerful. Because up to this, the Red Overlord was basically just beating the crap out of every other Kamen Rider. And then Gaim shows up and he's like, check out my new weapons, guys. And he, you know, beats the crap out of the Red Overlord. So that's pretty much all there was to this episode. We also saw, what's his face, Sengoku Ryoma totally just, ditching everybody. Screw you guys. I'm going to take the escape pod and
I also love that he was just henching for no reason. He's just like, I'm just sitting at a desk in my armor. Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
Yeah. Yeah. So the crap really hits the fan in this episode. A lot of the Overlord, the Green Overlord, basically kind of forms a little union with Michi, which is like a bad move on his part. I don't think anybody should trust Michi.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Not even the bad guys of the show.
Yeah. He'll double cross you and then he'll double cross you again.
Oh, duh, yeah, and Yggdrasil falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, that's why Sengoku Ryoma was like, "Hey, I'm out of here, guys. I'm done." Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that Yggdrasil is basically destroyed at this point.
Yeah. Or at least taken over by all those plants. So
yeah.
Who knows if they can rebuild from that, so
I'm gonna go ahead and say, nah, we're already at episode 32. They're probably not gonna have enough time to rebuild.
Yeah. That's true, and they don't really have a leader now. With Ryoma leaving and Zangetsu, doing his thing over in the forest.
Yeah, well, I mean, Zangetsu could always, like, come out and be like, I'm taking over Yggdrasil again because it's mine.
Yeah. We'll see. Or you can just hang out with the Overlord some more.
Yeah, I like him hanging out with the Overlords. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much it. It wasn't like a super heavy episode. It felt more of like, hey, let's introduce Kamen Rider Gaim's new form kind of an episode.
It was really good, though. It really kept my attention, and it was super fun to watch.
Yeah. You see the Kamen Riders and Team Baron finally joining forces and fighting the Red Overlord.
And then getting their butts kicked.
Yeah, not doing too great, but still.
Finally have Jonochi and Orin doing something.
Yeah, they come back.
Even though they get their butts kicked.
Yeah. A lot of that went around this episode.
Yeah.
A lot of ass kickings.
Of course, they got to do that. If they're going to introduce a new powerful character or someone, you have to show that character beating up someone who is really strong already. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it definitely changes the dynamics of the show, though. They've tipped the scales now in Gaim's favor. As were before, some of the other Kamen Riders could maybe hold their own against him. He's definitely on like a new level now, where nobody can touch him. So I just hope they play that well and don't make him like the Goku of the series, where like everybody else doesn't matter. It's all about Goku beating the crap out of Frieza or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to use DBZ analogy, but
no, that's fine. I love Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. I've been talking with some buddies about the new movie or whatever, Battle of the Gods, which is coming to theaters pretty soon.
Yeah.
If you haven't already like downloaded the fan sub version,
I've already seen the fan sub version.
Yeah. I've been waiting. Funimation's been really good about giving us samples, and I'm hoping they kick that to us, or I'll see it in theaters. So
I'm planning on watching it in theaters.
Yeah, it'd be a cool experience, I think.
Seeing Dragon Ball Z in theaters. Why are we talking about this in the middle of the Toku show? I don't know.
I don't know. You can just cut that out.
No, I'm leaving it in. People apparently like it when we go off on tangents, so I'm not cutting any of that out.
All right. I'm gonna start just talking about boring stuff now. No. Anyways,
he'd just be like, "This is what you asked us to do."
I'm gonna ramble on and on and on about my day. No. Anyways, let's jump over to some ToQger. All right, so we're going to talk about episodes 14 and 15 of Ressha Sentai ToQger.
Basically, episode 14, while it didn't really introduce a lot of interesting things, it kind of doubled as a parody episode and them trying to make us care about Tokyo 4/Green/ his name's like Hikari or something. I don't know. I still don't care about him.
Hey, you know his name now, and that matters.
You know what? I guess that matters. They got me to remember almost his name.
You didn't know his name before, so they're getting to you. They're getting to you.
They're gonna have to do a lot more to make me actually care about him, though.
Yeah.
But
he was a funny character, though. So basically, the ToQger get arrested in this episode. There's some crazy detective out there who just arrests him because he's like, hey, I have this crazy hunch. Maybe you don't have anything to do with all this stuff being stolen, but maybe you do. And so Hikari, luckily, was on the train. He was reading a book, like a mystery novel or something. And he's the one that doesn't get arrested. and it's up to him to solve the crime or whatever, find out who the culprit is. Yeah, you care about him. Don't lie to me. You care about him.
Uh,
You at least laughed in this episode.
I did. I
Okay.
really enjoyed it. It was basically a parody of a whole bunch of Japanese detective shows.
Hmm.
I loved the conductor throughout this entire episode. Just the way he immediately changed characters was hilarious.
Yeah. Green does too, but not as smoothly.
Yeah.
He puts on that jean jacket for no reason, and he starts sleuthing around.
Yeah, and then he becomes like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, the Kendama detective or something like that, I think his name was.
Huh.
So, anyways, that was a funny episode. They also threw Greta in there and her love triangle.
And I wish they would stop.
Yeah, it's like, dude, this episode really had nothing to do with Greta. Why remind us? Just let us enjoy an episode.
I mean, I was into it. This episode was great, and then Greta was all like, "Oh, still a giant baby, and I'm in love."
So, the funny thing about that episode is I watched it with my nephew. He's about 4 years old. Of course, he can't read Japanese, or he can't speak Japanese, he can't read English, obviously, at this point in his life. And he's like, "Oh, is that a big baby monster?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a big baby monster." And then he sees Schwartz, and he goes, "Is that her daddy?" And I was like, "No, that's not her daddy. That's just one of the other monsters." Of course, I didn't want to explain,
Yeah, don't ruin his life.
but that just makes me wonder, though, why make a big baby monster and then, put it in the middle of a love triangle in a Super Sentai show?
It's really frustrating. That
Yeah.
is easily my biggest gripe with this show. I don't care if I don't immediately connect to all of the characters. There's plenty of time for that. But I hate giant baby monster love triangles. That is a good way to get me to hate your show. Come on, Toei.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand, the kind of drinking with the conductor when he's drinking that big, Chardonnay glass of tea. Okay, it's not drinking, I can take big robot, boners, but not big baby love triangles. It's just not cool. I mean, yeah, I just let that slide with my nephew when he was watching the episode. He's like, "Yeah, just watch it. Some stuff's gonna happen. Don't worry about big baby." All right. So, speaking of big baby love triangles, the next episode features more big baby love triangles, and Josh hasn't seen it yet, so
Nope.
I'm gonna talk about it.
I actually didn't realize it was out yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good.
I think it came out yesterday, so we're gonna try to keep up with the episode. So I'm just gonna talk about it, and Josh can just sit there and think about big baby love triangles.
I'm just going to mute your mic to me and just be like, la, 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 la.
I'll just talk about the love triangle for a second. So, episode starts out, Greta basically still, swooning over Schwartz. She's still in love with him. And her monster is this big hammer monster that can use the hammer to take what's inside your heart and make it material. So in her case, the monster hits her with the hammer, and Schwartz appears. And of course, the monster's thing is he's going to destroy what's most important to the person's heart. Of course, for Greta, that would be Schwartz, but she's like, no, I need him. So she then ingests him, just opens up her mouth and eats Schwartz, and he goes back into her heart. So the rest of the episode revolves around the monster. At first, he does that to a couple humans, and then he does it to Yellow. And you find out that inside of Yellow's heart is this big shumai, monster called Mikey, or not a monster, like a cute little lovable plush mascot thing. And at the beginning of the episode, they find out that Yellow is basically the weakest. She's got the weakest imagination of them all. But later on, you find out that's actually not true. She's holding back her imagination. Ever since she was a little kid, she had this little doll that she would imagine being her friend, and she's just been embarrassed about it. I guess imaginary friends and that kind of thing aren't the coolest things when you have actual friends. So, as the episode progresses, the monster is trying to destroy that, because that, they figure, is going to bring like an ultimate darkness or whatever. If a human can create so much darkness when they destroy the most important thing to them, imagine what happens when you destroy the most important thing to a ToQger. And that backfires. So, instead of making her, weep and, regret that that her little big... let me try that again. So that backfires, and she just becomes super powerful. She just kicks the crap out of the monster, and that's basically all the episode was about, is just showing that Yellow isn't weak. She's got a really strong imagination. She just was, embarrassed of what was inside of her heart. So, what do you have to say about that episode, Josh? What'd you think?
Nothing.
All right. So, I liked it. It was a fun episode. I like Yellow. She's one of my favorites right now, so I always enjoy anything she's in. And I like how they presented her as being a strong character. Unlike Pink, who's just, hey, she's strong, but she can't control it. Yellow is more of like, she's strong, but she's holding it back. So we'll see. I mean, now that she's let that out, she's going to become a bigger player in the team, hopefully. Also in this episode, or in the previous episode, they introduced the police Ressha and the Tokyo police, which we didn't talk about. And so that just gives the Tokyo a gun and that big claw / handcuff weapon. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you take anything away from these episodes, there's big baby love triangle.
Big baby love triangle.
Yeah. And just character development, for both Green and Yellow.
Not a whole lot, though. Well, more so in Yellow, I guess.
Yeah. Well, also in that episode, which you haven't seen, Green kind of steps in a little bit when he was younger, and they were both younger, obviously. He wasn't the only younger one.
He's the only one who ages.
Yeah. It wasn't just like adult Yellow and then, young Green. So anyways, when they were both younger, he actually walked in and saw the little doll that she had, and he kept that a secret from the other members. So it showed that he knew what was going on, and he helped her a little bit, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Or he just kind of narrated what was going on and gave us an insight of, into the past of both himself and Yellow. So, yeah. Maybe you'll like Green after that episode. Alright, now it's time for the last segment of the show, the recommendation part. And today we're recommending Choujin Sentai Jetman, a series that's very fun to me. How about you, Josh?
Yes, it is a fantastic show as soon as this decides to load. There we go.
There we go. So, Jetman aired in 91, if I'm not mistaken. The year before Zyuranger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, it was 1990.
1990? Are you sure? Oh, it might have run through 91, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. It
So,
ran through 91, and then 91 to 92 was Zyuranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the plot to this show was basically, there's these aliens coming to Earth. They attack this ship that's carrying this, new training program type, facility where they're going to train these jetmen, these, super soldiers to combat, possible alien threats.
With birdonic waves.
With birdonic waves. So, unfortunately, only the guy who's to become Red survives, and different humans on Earth get hit with the birdonic waves, and so they're basically chosen just randomly by luck to become the Jetman. And there you have the team. So, this show was basically a homage to Gatchaman. As you can see, they have the bird motif. So, it's just a really good show. It starts out a little slow. You also have to if you're going to watch this now, you have to get into the mindset that you're watching a show from the 90s. If you've been watching recent Super Sentai, you're not going to get all that CG, the great costumes and everything else.
But you are going to get great costumes.
They're very, 90s-tastic costumes. They're just...
If you like old tokusatsu, you're going to love this show.
Yeah. But, I mean, build quality-wise, they're not as great as, the newer costumes with... the budget that the shows have now.
They have a lot of heart, though.
Yeah. Maria looks like a big mushroom, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the characters are good. There's a love triangle in this, not involving any big babies whatsoever.
This is how you do a love triangle.
You do it well. And actually, the love triangle in this is a little bit more complicated, too.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other characters that get involved. We're not going to discuss it because it's a big plot point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if we were to blow the load right now, you would hate us if you guys watch this show.
Yeah, it's great throughout. Once it starts picking up, there's also this thing where the villains are basically competing against each other to see who can take down the Jetmen. Jetman, however you want to pronounce that. I don't know what the correct pronunciation of multiple Jetmans is.
The
The Jet
Jet
people,
Man.
The Jet people.
Yeah. The Jet Jaguars.
So there's a contest where they're all basically going back and forth to see who can defeat them. You know, the villains are trying to see who the best is, who can be the leader of the Vyram. And so the villains are pretty cool in this show. I don't think anybody is really just, there to be there. You have Gray, the cyborg, that basically enjoys the finer things in life. Like wine and music and women.
Murder.
Murder. You also have Radiget, who's just a big douchebag. You have Tron, who's a little kid. He just kind of hangs out for a little bit.
And
but
no
he gets,
love triangles with the kid.
Yeah. And then later on, he becomes really cool. Am I missing anybody? Maria, who's an interesting character that really plays into the story. And that's as much as I'm going to say. So the villains are really cool. They're the contest they have going on is really cool. It just intensifies as the show goes. I'm not going to go into it more than that, because again, spoilers. And the Jetman team is pretty cool too.
And if I can add something,
Yeah.
if you start watching this show, please keep watching till the end.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even gonna say anything. Watch it till the end.
It's got, I think, one of the best endings in Super Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
If not the best ending. Yeah.
I would say the best of any Super Sentai show that I've seen.
Yeah. I also like this show is a little bit darker
Mm-hmm.
than normal. That contest between the villains, like I said, it intensifies. It gets pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You have an episode where the Black Condor almost dies. There's one monster where he crystallizes people, and I really got into that episode because he's really afraid. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm a superhero, but I might die today because of this villain." So it's good. I mean, you have the yellow and blue. Those characters are a little bit more just laid back in the show. They were just kind of hanging out, but they were pretty fun. And you also had a fat character in the show as a Super Sentai, so...
I love it whenever I see that. That makes me super happy.
Yeah. So, great show. I mean, anything you want to add?
No, just watch it right now. Sometimes, we recommend shows that may not be the best shows. We're just recommending it because it's something you need to see. This is both amazing, and if you like Super Sentai, you need to watch Jetman.
Mm-hmm.
And
the robot. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, I'd also like to mention that this was almost Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
They were in early talks to bring it over, Saban was, and they were talking about bringing over Jetman, and then they saw, the stuff for Zyuranger, and they decided to go ahead and go with Zyuranger since it was newer.
Yeah. And dinosaurs.
And dinosaurs.
Yeah. I really wonder, though, if the show would have picked up here in the States. Had they done Jetman, would we still have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Because, I mean, I love me some Jetman, but I don't know how well it would have translated into, success here in the States.
Yeah, the dinosaurs it was definitely the best decision that they could have made to bring it over to America.
I mean, this is around the time Jurassic Park came out, so you had, dinosaurs with a cool thing. Not that they're ever not cool, but I mean they were just more in the mind of the they were just more in the mind of the public at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's really cool. I'm not going to start a whole Super Sentai versus Power Rangers debate, but this is one shining example where Super Sentai just has a much richer lineage than Power Rangers. I've yet to see a Power Rangers show that could compare to Jetman.
Yep, RPM comes the closest, but it still doesn't.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, even if you're just a Power Rangers fan, I think you owe it yourself to watch this show. It's definitely more mature. I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had smoking, drinking, womanizing in the show, and that was just Black Condor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Condor is the coolest.
Yeah. I often talk with my friend. I miss older shows when people could just do that, just drink and smoke on camera. Characters would die. The landscape of children's television has definitely changed.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, look at us. We watch this stuff, and we're okay.
Yeah, yeah, you're just fine.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the recommendation for the week. Jetman. And let's jump over to the next section, which is not a regular section of the show. All right. So, I hear the guys out there like some toys. And they like some Super Sentai toys. And since we... Yeah. Oh, what could it be? Like Josh doesn't know what it is already.
Oh! I'm dripping with anticipation.
So, we just talked about Jetman, and we're going to give away... Not Skype.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We're going to give away an SH Figure Arts Black Condor. The most badass Black Ranger there is in Super Sentai. So, this was given to us by Bluefin Distribution as a giveaway. And the way it's going to work this time, it's going to be on Twitter. So, follow us at PowerToku on Twitter. That'll give you one chance to win the toy. And then next week, we're going to send out a tweet. And if you retweet that tweet, then you're going to get a second chance to win the toy. So, you know, after you're done watching this, head on over to Twitter, follow us, and keep your eye open for the eyes. Plural, not singular. Wow. I'm screwing up today.
Nah, it's fine.
Keep your eyes open for the tweet that's going to let you get a second chance at winning this bad boy.
Get it? It's because Black Condor is a bird, and we're giving it out via a tweet.
And he's a bad boy. But he's a bad boy you love to hate and love.
And love. We love to hate and also love to love him.
Yeah. All right. So, I think that's it for the show.
Yeah, I believe it is. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm Josh Reed. You can find me on CollectionDX as Jmann and on Twitter at JmanDX.
And I'm Luis. You can find me on CollectionDX. I'll probably have a couple of reviews coming up pretty soon. And you can also find me on Twitter at SentaiSeiya. And Josh Reed, we can also find him on the CDX show.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to plug your new work.
Oh, yeah. You can find me on the CollectionDX show next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around.
Bye, guys.
Bye.